RWL YouTube channel presents RWL Wrestling from the Philadelphia Spectrum. Tonight's card is sponsored in part by Langley's Forever Paint. Made from an exclusive polymer formula, Forever Paint never washes off, never comes off because it's forever. By Hokum Tire and Rubber Company. When the rubber meets the road, it's time for Hokum because it sticks to the road. The Torch Liability and Indemnity Company. Torch is the arson insurance specialist. You can't burn down anything without Torch. By Get Good, the premium gas station boner pill that's sweeping American men. Next time you're getting some, get good with Get Good. And need a lawyer? Call 1-888-LAWSUIT and let Dewey Cheatham, Daily Nightly, and How Get Show Ass Paid.
Well, all right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Philadelphia Spectrum for tonight's RWL Wrestling card. My name's Don Hickson, and I'm joined by Snarl General Manager Hangman Tex Lynch. We've got a terrific 2-hour lineup just before this Saturday's Snarl, Tex.
As we do, Dandy Don, and I'm right back at work again. I'll be calling the matches tonight, and Dandy Don here is going to be providing all the necessary insight to what's going on. It's going to be a terrific 2 hours, so kick back, relax, it's going to be fantastic.
Indeed it is, Tex. Most of the stars of the rosters of both Snarl and Rage in the building tonight, and it is going to be a spectacular lineup of RWL mat action, so kick back, relax, set up your snacks, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be a fantastic evening. Let's get it underway without delay with our opening contest tonight. We'll be right back with that. All right, fans, welcome back to Wrestling from the Spectrum. Our opening ladies match tonight's going to be Jody Vorak, the Memphis Millionaires, facing Sherry Martel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RWL Wrestling from the Spectrum. Our first match, one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first from Fontana, California, the Memphis Millionaires, Jody Dvorak.
The Memphis Millionaires, the Whip Kitten Jody Vorak, who hasn't been to the Spectrum since the Hell in a Cell match past March with Liberty Belt Danielle Heathcote. And I'm sure the memories are flowing fast and free for Jody Vorak as she sets to lock up against Sherry Martel in this matchup. Another return matchup from the previous tournament, which was held a couple of weeks ago.
Was a hell of a tournament too, Don. Well, I'll tell you what, we're still feeling the reverberations from those two ladies' tournaments a couple of weeks after the fact, already into October.
Her opponent representing Bell Unlimited from Nashville, Tennessee. Here's Sensational Sherry Martel.
Sensational Sherry Martel along with Ronda Rousey, the two females comprising the ladies contingent of Bell Unlimited. Too Short Popeye, Welfare Popeye, whatever he is, Scott Bell, conspicuous by his absence here this evening tonight. I'm not sure where he is, but he is not in the building tonight.
Well, thank heaven for small favors. Myron will like that. Oh, man. Sensational Sherry Martel, a seasoned veteran, of course. She didn't do too tough in that tournament, but, well, anyway, at least she's wearing black leather again. That day glow outfit she wore at the tournament, man, my eyes are still hurting. Well, hey, at least Sherry Martel won't be hurting my eyes with that awful outfit she wore at the tournament. Oh, man, what an eyesore that was. Oh, all right, well, referee Charles Lacera rings the bell. They come center ring. Jody opens up with a hard right, gets a hold on Sherry Martel, snap suplex and a pin, but not even a one. Jody just doing a little bit of showing off here, I guess. Martel whipped to the far right corner. Sherry Martel rounded up and driven back into the buckle again by Jody, a German release suplex that pitches her halfway across the ring. Jody with a gouge of the face to Sherry Martel, not likely to improve her looks much, but okay. Oh, here we go, belly to belly suplex from Jody Warwick. The Memphis Millionaires showing out here. Sherry Martel connects with a clothesline, takes Jody down. Follows it up with a set of stomps. She's going to stomp every available inch on Jody Warwick before she's through. Sherry Martel, definitely no respecter of the rules, man. Paying it back with another gouge to the face, this time to Jody Warwick herself. Sherry Martel goes behind. Jody counters with elbows to the midsection, backs off. Sherry Martel tried for the spinning punch, didn't get it. Sherry Martel whips Jody to the far right corner. Jody Warwick being introduced to the turnbuckle several times, but Jody puts a stop to it, delivers a shot to the elbow, and slams Sherry Martel into the turnbuckle for herself. An elbow from Sherry, and a quick Ruth press counter with a set of punches to Jody Warwick. Sherry Martel with a crossbody takes Jody down. I think her temper's starting to flare up just a little bit, Don. Sherry Martel steps to the outside of the apron. A hard right. And a diving senton to Jody Warwick on the outside. Sherry Martel clearly done fooling around here. And she starts to stamp the hands and fingers of Jody Warwick on the outside. The Memphis Millionaires find herself in a little bit of trouble here as Sherry Martel starts to really show out, putting all her weight into that boot, into the midsection of Jody Warwick. And that is not good. Sherry Martel slams Jody's face first into the floor. Rounds her up again. Finally gets her back inside the ring. Referee Charles Lucera trying to get her in there. He continues to count. Sherry Martel makes her way back inside the ring. Jody Warwick back up on her feet. They lock it up. Jody goes behind. German suplex on Sherry Martel. A hard right and another and a left. Has her up over the shoulders. Slams her down with authority. Jody Warwick turning things around here. Another German suplex to Sherry Martel as Jody firmly takes control of this matchup, and Sherry Martel. Oh, man, nasty uppercut from Jody. Takes her down again. The Memphis Millionaires takes herself all the way topside. Here we go. Diving elbow finds the mark right across the throat of Sherry Martel. Oh, man. Jody follows that up with a stomp. Look at this. Driving a series of knees into the side of the head of Sherry Martel. And that'll definitely scramble your signals. Hard right hand from Jody. Jody winds up the arm on Sherry Martel, takes her down. The canvas follows that up with a stomp to the shoulder. Jody Warwick drives a knee into the arm of Sherry Martel. I bet right now Sherry's wishing she had old Too Short by the ringside. Sherry Martel with a vertical suplex on Jody. Jody Warwick slowly getting back to her feet. Sherry Martel catches a couple of rights, a left and another right. And she is reeling. Jody rounds her up. Sherry Martel quick with the evade. But winds up, getting slammed anyway. Nice move from the Memphis Millionaires. Jody Warwick doing a little bit of showing out here. Shaking what her mama gave her. All the way up on the top turnbuckle. Here we go. Diving leg drop right across the chest of Sherry Martel. Sherry in big trouble here as Jody decides she's going to go to the wall one more time. Nope, changes her mind about it. Clubbing overhand right to the head of Sherry Martel. Followed up with another one, keeping her down on the canvas. Jody Warwick moves in, rakes the nails across the back of Sherry Martel, goes behind on her, delivers a hard forearm. Sherry counters the whip and a jumping elbow takes Jody down to the canvas. Sherry swung and missed with that slap, but she definitely connected with those elbows to the midsection of Jody. Jody locked up by Sherry Martel. There's a headlock punch. Takes Jody down to the mat. Sherry Martel returns to work, stamping the hands and fingers of Jody Warwick, and she is in a heap of pain. Sherry Martel stalking Jody, who rolls to the outside. Sherry Martel all the way up on the top turnbuckle. Jody Warwick just getting to a standing position. Here we go. Double axe handle right across the head finds the mark. Sherry Martel with a kick to the midsection of Jody Vorak. Jody back up on her feet, catches a clothesline from Sherry Martel. And the momentum has shifted again, this time on the outside, as Sherry Martel nails her with a diving drop kick. Rounds Jody back up again, takes her down to the floor and into a heel hook stretch on Jody, paying no mind to the referee's count. Jody shoves her away, gets up to a standing position, gets a hold of Sherry Martel, rolls her back inside the ring. And Jody, quickly, wasting no time, takes herself all the way up to the top turnbuckle. Here we go, diving elbow right across the back of Sherry Martel. Here's a cover. 1, 2, 3. Well, that is it. Jody Vorak defeating Sherry Martel by pinfall. Let's go get the official time.
The time was 6 minutes and 2 seconds. Your winner, Jody Dvorak.
Well, there you have it, Jody Vorak. Perhaps looking a little bit sore after the beating she endured at the hands of Sherry Martel, but at the end of the game, the Memphis Millionaires winds up with her hand raised, getting the victory over Sherry Martel in pretty spectacular fashion.
Yes, indeed, she did, Dandy Don. Jody Vorak. Now, Sherry Martel gave her a pretty tough time, but in the end, right here on the replay, you can see it. Jody took that dive, that leap of faith, and nailed Sherry across the back with the elbow, and that was it. We'll be back with more RWL Wrestling from the Spectrum right after this brief break.
Alright fans, coming up, tag team action in the mighty RWL manner as Jeff Fortune and Chris Wild Fortune get set to face Joe and Mark Coffey.
This next tag team match, set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming to the ring first, at a combined weight of 456 pounds. From Loch Lomond, Virginia, Jeff Fortune, and from right here in Philadelphia, Chris Wild, and together they are Wild Fortune.
Well, Chris and Jeff have put behind the loss of the Rage Tag Team Championships to Wilcox and Hollywood, and they're focusing their attention on the Coffey Brothers this evening, and that's the first step towards getting back some tag team gold for Chris Wild and Jeff Fortune, and I think they're definitely going to do it.
Unquestionably, Jeff and Chris have definitely demonstrated they have the ability to compete with just about anyone and win.
Their opponents at a combined weight of 498 pounds, both from Glasgow, Scotland. The team of Mark and Joe Coffey.
Well, we caught Mark Coffey in his debut on RWL Rage. Tonight he joins his brother in tag team competition against Chris Wild and Jeff Fortune, and that is going to be an interesting matchup. We've not seen the Coffey Brothers in tag team competition, Tex. Who knows what they're going to demonstrate?
Well, the chances are good they're going to give Chris and Jeff a hard time. They're definitely experienced. They've got the whole NXT thing behind them. So they're not slouches. But Chris and Jeff, definitely seasoned veterans around here in RWL, and it's not going to be an easy task for the Coffey Brothers to pick up the win.
So you'd be leaning towards Wild Fortune winning this matchup?
I have to. Chris and Jeff, well, I've seen them in action. I don't know all that much about Joe and Mark Coffey, so we're just going to have to see what they can show us. Well, all right, Don, it's going to be Jeff Fortune and Mark Coffey starting off this tag team matchup. Should be a good one. Let's see what happens. Charles Lucero sounds the bell. They come center ring. They lock it up. Jeff Fortune whipped to the far right corner by Mark Coffey. Mark Coffey moves in, delivers a chop across the chest of Jeff Fortune. Takes him down to the canvas. Coffey gathers him up again quickly. Running kick right to the face. Down goes Jeff Fortune. Mark Coffey definitely steps over, climbs his way to the top turnbuckle. Oh, this is going to be bad for Jeff Fortune. Jeff up on his feet. The double axe handle connects. Jeff Fortune catches all of it. Mark Coffey coming out real aggressive in the early goings. Turns it over to his brother Joe Coffey. Jeff Fortune misses with a clothesline. Catches a hard right. Joe Coffey whipped to the corner. Shot to the midsection from Jeff. Jeff Fortune. Look at this, a series of chops and punches like a machine. And down goes Joe Coffey. Jeff Fortune steps out, turns it over to Chris Wilde. Wild Fortune, they are an experienced team and a half, man. Joe Coffey turns him around with a hard right, goes into a bear hug. But Chris Wilde not having any of it. Double ear clap. Backs off Joe. Joe Coffey whipped to the ropes by Chris Wilde. He ducks under. And a beautiful arm drag from Chris Wilde. Chris with a kick to the midsection and a DDT to Joe Coffey. And yeah, he is fired up. Wild Fortune firmly in control at the present time as Mark Coffey comes back in on the tag. A shoulder tackle takes Chris down the canvas. Mark whips him to the ropes. Gets a hold of him, but no. An elbow to the side of the head from Chris Wilde says, I'm not going where you want me to go. Clubbing overhand right to Mark Coffey. Mark Coffey whipped to the Wild Fortune corner. Counters and escapes the corner. Locks up Chris, delivers a kick to the midsection. Gets a hold of the trunks, has him up, and a crashing brainbuster. Mark Coffey covers one, but only just a one, says referee Charles Lucera. Chris Wilde rounded up again by Mark Coffey. Whipped to the Coffey brothers corner. He's going to take it himself. Drapes the leg over the middle rope. Delivers a kick to the calf of Chris Wilde. Chris locked up again. So this Mark Coffey with a pump handle. Has him up over the shoulder. Pump handle slam. Beautifully executed. Here comes Joe Coffey again. As Chris Wilde beats it out of town, turns it over to Jeff Fortune on the hot tag. Jeff with a kick to the midsection, a right and a drop kick. Takes down Joe Coffey. Follows up with a stomp to the leg. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. One. But again, just a one. Going to be a lot of near falls in this matchup. Here's a stomp right to the face. Chris watching as Jeff Fortune drives a knee into the head of Joe Coffey. Jeff Fortune makes his way to the top turnbuckle here. And here it goes. Elbow drop right across the chest of Joe Coffey as Chris Wilde comes in on the tag to take over for Wild Fortune. And Chris Wilde is definitely fired up. In his hometown, of course he would be. A Philadelphia native, Chris Wilde. Chris whips Joe Coffey into the corner. Gathers him up over the shoulder, but whoa, quick counter and a DDT from Joe Coffey. Joe drives a knee into the head of Chris Wilde. Does it again to make sure it takes as he beats it out of town and turns it over to Mark Coffey. Chris Wilde catches a running kick. And Mark Coffey just teeing off with hard lefts to the back of the head of Chris Wilde. Here's a quick cover. One. And again, just a one. Chris Wilde kicking out of the pin easy. There's a driving knee into the head of Chris Wilde. Mark Coffey delivers a knee to the head. Chris rolls up to a standing position and a quick clothesline. Takes Mark Coffey down to the mat. Followed up with a stomp to the arm. Chris Wilde slowly takes it away and turns it over to Jeff Fortune. Jeff and Mark Coffey both missed their move on that one. Whoa! Beautiful hip toss from Jeff Fortune. That was nice. Jeff locks up Mark Coffey, whips him to the ropes. He puts on the brakes, but no good. Look at this beautiful DDT from Jeff Fortune. Okay. Look at this Joe Coffey coming in. Jeff Fortune caught showboating. Escorted to the corner, hit first into the turnbuckle. There's a shot to the midsection. There's another one. Joe Coffey turns him around, smashes his head into the turnbuckle. Jeff Fortune counters with an elbow, gets himself out of the corner. Sets up Joe Coffey against the ropes, but Joe counters with an elbow. Locks up Jeff Fortune. Whips him to the Coffey brothers corner again. And there's a chop across the chest you could hear all through the building. Here comes Mark Coffey again on the tag. Jeff Fortune slowly standing up, but Mark Coffey's right there. Whips him over the top rope onto the apron. Brings him back in, draped over the top rope by the legs, and a clubbing overhand right takes Jeff Fortune down to the canvas again. Oh, okay. The Coffey Brothers starting to turn things around here just a little bit after Wild Fortunes enjoyed the momentum for most of the match. I don't know, man. Mark Coffey showboating a little bit too much here. Catches a jawjacker from Jeff Fortune. A hard right, another one. And a big time right to the head that takes him down to the canvas again. Mark Coffey. Whip to the Wild Fortune corner. Here comes Chris Wild on the tag. Here comes a double team from Wild Fortune. Mark Coffey whip to the ropes, over and into a back body drop as Chris Wild takes over for his team. So this Mark Coffey rolls out to the floor. Chris Wild's not going to leave him alone. Yes, he is. He's going to change his mind and go after Joe Coffey instead, while Jeff Fortune deals with Mark Coffey on their side of the ring. Mark Coffey rolls back in just in time for Chris Wild to round him up, turns him over, drives an elbow into the leg, takes his leave of the ring and turns it over to Jeff Fortune. Mark Coffey back up on his feet, charges a shoulder tackle, takes down Jeff Fortune. A clubbing overhead right to Jeff. Mark Coffey rounds him up by the trunks, has him on vertical suplex from Mark Coffey. It looks like he's going to beat it out of town himself and turn it over to Joe Coffey. Jeff Fortune back up on his feet, moving into center ring. Locks up. Joe Coffey with a front cradle on Jeff Fortune, smashes his back into the turnbuckle and then hurls him towards center ring. Joe Coffey delivers a stomp to the midsection. Jeff Fortune finding himself in a spot here as Joe Coffey stamps the hands and fingers of Jeff Fortune. Jeff Fortune about to receive some more misfortune at the hands of Joe Coffey, who continues to stamp on the hands and fingers of Jeff Fortune. Oh, this is absolutely merciless, man. Come on. Talk about spamming the move, son. Do something different, for crying out loud. Huh. Joe Coffey with a rolling elbow across the chest of Jeff Fortune, whose hand is probably flatter than a piece of paper right about now. Joe Coffey up on the top turnbuckle as Jeff Fortune makes his way to a standing position here. Here we go. Misses the mark completely. Here's a quick cover from Jeff. One. That would have been funny if that had been the end right there, wouldn't it? Oh. Jeff Fortune whips Joe Coffey to his team's corner. Turns him around. Turns it over to Chris Wild and says, here you go, do what you got to do. And Chris has been psyched all through the match. Turns Joe Coffey around. Turns him back around instead. Turns him back around again. Can't seem to decide which position he wants to beat up on first. Oh, there's just so much. I just can't seem to make up my mind. Wow. What is going on with Chris Wild? He is just going nuts. Back and forth and Joe Coffey. Joe Coffey had enough. He delivered a knee to the head and smashes his fist across the back of Chris Wild's skull. He's got him rounded up, and oh man, nasty way to go here. Here's a cover from Joe Coffey, one, but just a one. Chris Wild kicks out of the pin. A hard right, then another, then a third. Joe Coffey's backing all the way up towards his corner here. And another hard right that takes him down to the canvas. He is stunned stupid. He can't even see straight right now. Another one. Chris Wild tagging Joe Coffey with hard right hands across the side of the head. Another hard right that takes him down to the canvas. And look at this, Chris Wild biting the hand on Joe Coffey. I said, well, if they're going to be ruthless, we can show them we're going to be just as ruthless as they are. Man, Wild Fortune regaining control of the matchup here. Joe Coffey has been laid out for quite some time now. Chris Wild gathers him up, gets a hold of him. Hard whip to the corner. Chris Wild countered while Joe Coffey, they lock up. Up over the shoulders goes Joe. Chris Wild walks him halfway across town towards the opposing corner, head first over, oh man, right across the top rope. Chris Wild off the middle rope leg drop across the throat of Joe Coffey. Here's another cover with a hook of the leg, one, two, but Mark Coffey right there to break up the pin and save the match for his team. Chris Wild decides he's had enough. He's going to turn it over to Jeff Fortune and see what he can do. And what a matchup we've had. We're well over the halfway mark now and still no sign of a winner. Coffey with an elbow to the side of the head of Jeff Fortune. There's a hard right that takes him down to the canvas. Joe Coffey has taken quite a bit of abuse, and now he's going to deal it out again. Starts stamping on the hands and fingers of Jeff Fortune again. As if to make a point, here comes Mark Coffey. Jeff Fortune charges. Beautiful DDT from Jeff. Stalking Mark Coffey, locks him up. Swing and a miss from Mark, and slam face first into the canvas by Jeff Fortune. Jeff locks up. Oh man, basement DDT. That was quick and dirty. Here comes Chris Wilde again. What a matchup we've had. Running kick to the knee of Mark Coffey. A series of hard rights drives him into the corner. Chris Wilde playing tug-of-war with the arm of Mark Coffey. Another hard right from Chris. A cheap shot from Joe Coffey, which winds up costing him. There's a kick that takes him out to the floor. Mark Coffey rounded up by Chris Wilde. Hard whip to the ropes and a power slam. Beautifully executed. Here's a cover. One. Well, now just a one. Apparently Mark Coffey has not received a sufficient amount of punishment. Chris Wilde off the top. 10 feet up, 10 feet down. Elbow across the chest. Death from above from Mark Coffey. Coffey delivers a drop kick that takes Chris Wilde down to the floor. And now a little display of arrogance from Mark Coffey. Joe Coffey laid out on the other side. He has taken quite a bit of a beating. Mark Coffey takes himself back inside the ring, and he is heading towards Jeff Fortune with bad intentions. But here comes Chris Wilde, crossbody. And here comes Joe Coffey to get directly involved. Tags him with a cheap shot and then leaves. Mark Coffey with a running elbow to Chris Wilde, and here's another cover. Not even a one. Jeff Fortune right there to break up the party. Oh, man. Mark Coffey's mad. Rounds up Chris Wilde. Goes behind on him. One arm slams him. And then beats it out of town, turning it over to Joe Coffey again. Chris Wilde getting up to a standing position in the corner. Here comes Joe Coffey. Raking the forearm across the side of the face of Chris Wilde. That is extremely painful. Joe Coffey assists Chris Wilde out of the corner with an alley-oop right there. And now laboriously taking his time about where he's going to go next. Joe Coffey looks like he might be bringing about the end here as he goes topside. Boom! Misses with the driving knee and just crushes it. Here comes Chris on the cover. 1, 2, 3. Well, now that about does it. Wild Fortune defeats the Coffey brothers by pinfall. Let's go get the official time.
Here's the time, 13 minutes and 41 seconds. Your winners, Chris and Jeff, Wild Fortune.
Well, there you have it, Chris and Jeff proving once again that they can hang with anyone and anybody, picking up an impressive win over Mark and Joe Coffey despite the best efforts of the Coffey brothers to win this match. Tex, how about it?
I gotta tell you, Dandy Don, I love Wild Fortune. Loved Wild Fortune since they came in 2012 and pulled off an upset win over Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA in one of their very first matches. That's how they got to be tag team champions, and they'll be tag team champions again someday, I'm sure. All right, folks, that takes care of our first tag team match of the night. We still got a whole lot more action here on Wrestling from the Spectrum, and we'll be back with all of it right after the break. Stick around.
Up next, ladies tags, first time ever, Los Reinas going one-on-one against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
I've been amped about this one since I heard it was happening. Las Reinas still undefeated so far.
The following ladies tag team match, one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle along with Women's International Champion Angie Angel Downs, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Josie Rod, and Lisa Rivera, Las Reinas.
Los Reinas is indeed undefeated up to this point, along with Angie Angel Guns, will be standing ringside watching her grandnieces perform. The Guns family dynasty at it again. These and the Guns brothers to put it all together, and it's a pretty big family.
Well, there's a whole lot of them. Cousins by the dozens, as they say. But Josie and Lisa what performers they have turned out to be. So far, nobody's been able to get a pin or submission on either one of them. And tonight they're going to be going one-on-one against Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler. And those ladies, let me tell you, those ladies can wrestle. They wrestle for real. They're not fooling around.
Oh, indeed, they are established, very physical performers. And, well, how's that going to fare against Josie and Lisa and that Guns Family Dynasty genetics?
Well, probably fare pretty good, I think. Well, they can get down and dirty if they have to. And it's been seen before. I think we've seen one of them bite somebody before, too.
Their opponents, first from Las Vegas, Nevada, Zoey Stark, and from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Shayna Baszler.
Well, that's an interesting pair right there. They have worked together in the past in WWE. They've been tag team partners. They did pretty well singles on their own, both Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark, but when they put it together as a tag team, it became something special. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do against the undefeated Los Reinos, who could wind up getting rocked tonight.
Very distinct possibility, Tex. But Los Reinos still stand undefeated, and thus far, no one's been able to do it, as you say.
All right, Dandy Don, it's going to be Josie Rod and Zoey Stark starting off in this ladies tag matchup. I've been waiting for this one. This is going to be hot. Hold up. Referee Charles Lucero rings the bell. The ladies come center ring. They lock it up. Zoey Stark with the upper hand right away with Josie Rod over the shoulders. Oh, man. Just rolled her. Steamrolled her, man. Wow. Rebound off the middle rope cross body to Josie Rod. Zoey Stark. Whoa! Athletic, too. That's reverse senton right there. And here we go. It's been a night for the girls stamping on the hands of their opponents. And Zoey Stark following suit. I guess it's trending. Shayna comes in off the tag. Josie Rod charges, runs right into a spear. Center ring. Shayna, no nonsense. There's another couple of overhand rights. Shayna whips Josie to the far right corner, misses with the charge. Josie catches the right, a chop, puts the brakes on. Josie delivers a chop, a shot to the midsection. Josie locks her up, has her up. There's a backbreaker. And Josie Rod is going to turn it over to Lisa Rivera. Angie Angel Guns watches from ringside. Man, that Guns Family Dynasty, absolutely amazing. Here we go. Josie Rod has her up. Vertical suplex to Shayna. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg right away. Right away. Los Reinos wasting no time going for those pins. They do it all the time. Driving knee right to the head of Shayna. Josie misses with the double boot stomp. Delivers a running knee instead. Tries for the double boot stomp again and doesn't get it. Shayna Baszler just a step too quick. Oh, look at this. Mounted punches from Shayna on Josie. Shayna wasting no time going right on the attack with Josie down on the canvas. Josie in trouble here. Shayna really putting the boots to her. Like I said at the outset, man, these two, they may not be knockout beauties, but man, they can fight. And that's really all that matters inside that squared circle. Shayna with a kick to the calf of Josie Rod. Josie comes up out of the corner, limping. They'll do the hustle here and into a neck breaker. Shayna firmly in control here and goes for a cover. 1, 2. Yep, barely just a 2. The ref says 2. My eye said almost a 2. All right. Head first into the turnbuckle goes Shayna. Josie tags her with her right hand. Scrapes the leg over the middle rope, delivers the kick to the calf. In retaliation, talk about paybacks up. You know what it is. There's a forearm. Kick to the midsection, and boom! DDT right down to the canvas. Face first goes Shayna. Josie steps out, steps back in, turns her attention to Zoey Stark. There's a knock on the noggin to Zoey. She steps out on the apron with Zoey Stark. Boom! Down goes Zoey. against the lip of the apron as Shayna Baszler, the legal woman in the ring, comes back up to a standing position. Josie makes her way back inside the ring. Locks it up with Shayna. Hard whip to the ropes. Drives the knee right into the head. Goes behind on her. Has her up. Atomic drop right into the tailbone. And then a hard right for emphasis. There's the exclamation point. Josie Rod on fire here and lighting it up for the fans in Philadelphia. Looking about all in a day's work. Shayna Baszler on the meanwhile, crawling her way to her corner, looking for the exit off the freeway for sure. And Josie Rod just loving it, and the fans just loving her. Wow. Zoe Stark comes in on the tag, catches a shot from Josie, gets knocked down to the mat. Josie Rod into a heel hook stretch on Zoe Stark. Shayna Baszler had definitely had enough. And she couldn't crawl to that corner fast enough. Josie Rod blocked by Zoe Stark, and the suplex winds up getting turned around on her. Kick to the midsection from Josie. A set of hard rights on the left and a driving knee to the lower abdomen, and boom, axe kick to the back of the head. Lisa Rivera comes in, takes over. Josie steps back into her corner, waiting for her next opportunity as Lisa Rivera starts to go to work on Zoe Stark. Kick to the back of the head. Zoe rounded back up. Lisa gets a hold on her. Hard whip to the ropes, but Zoe puts on the brakes. Lisa goes behind on her anyway. Russian leg sweep takes her down to the canvas. Zoe Stark trying to beat it out of town, and she sure does. Here comes Shayna. Lisa drives a knee right into the head again. Oh, man, she knocked her the hell on out. Guaranteed. Here's a cover. 1, 2, 3, and she is gone. Los Reinos. The undefeated streak of Josie Rod and Lisa Rivera continues with this amazing win, a rather rapid win over Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Well, Tex, what do you say to that? I don't really know what to say, Danny Don, other than wow, Josie and Lisa performing admirably tonight, but Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler did put on a little bit of a show. It just happened that, well, you see what happened. Lisa knocked her the hell on out. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with a Cruiserweight Championship match right after the break.
Fans, we close out the first hour with a championship matchup.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following match, one fall with a 15-minute time limit, and it is for the RWL Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, here is a match, Tex, that Oliver Hollywood has been waiting for.
Well, he's been waiting for it with bated breath, man. Waiting for this opportunity to become a double champion. Got those Rage Tag Team titles along with Tommy Wilcox, but he would love a single title all his own. Well, the Cruiserweight title certainly fits the bill for Oliver Hollywood. He's been there before. Former Tag Team Champion several times over. Cruiserweight Champion. Snarl TV Champion. International Champion once, too. Yeah, Oliver Hollywood's been around the block.
Well, this one is certainly cute to my eye in the regard that Oliver Hollywood doesn't rarely get an opportunity at the Cruiserweight title. We've seen all sorts of people. Scotty Priest, Tony Dangerous, Ricochet, and a host of others. But so far, Oliver Hollywood has not seen too many opportunities come knocking at his door.
Well, it sure came knocking this time. Byron Schimmelman said it was time, it was overdue. They had to throw something new into the mix, and even though we got some new cruiserweights, it still wasn't quite enough. Wound up going back to the well and getting Oliver Hollywood out. Well, the wonders never cease. But Ollie, he's got all the potential in the world.
And here is the RWL Cruiserweight Champion, accompanied, of course, by Sylvia Strong. Gary Galaxy, the prototype, who has had that Cruiserweight title around his waist for a very long time. For the majority of 2025, it's been all about Gary Galaxy. And so far, no one's been able to take him down. Maybe Oliver Hollywood will be the monkey wrench thrown into the works, as it were, that changes everything up.
You know, Don, I usually tend to favor the champion in a title match, but Oliver Hollywood has got twice the experience, literally, over Gary Galaxy. There is every chance we're going to see a title change tonight, unless Gary Galaxy's on his toes and training like he always does. Well, when he's not in the ring competing, he can often be seen training at local gyms in whatever town he happens to be in. He keeps himself in peak physical condition at all times. Definitely a hallmark of anybody who's in the Stronghold. Sylvia Strong insists on this. Well, maybe that's why they've got all those championships to their credit. That's an awfully big showcase over there at the Stronghold's offices, man. Wow. But the prototype, Gary Galaxy, definitely possible that he could hang on to the Cruiserweight title, but Oliver Hollywood could really be a game changer, like you say, Don. But come what may, win or lose, Tex, one thing is certain. It is going to be a major change of pace from the usual Cruiserweight Championship matches we've been seeing over the last 10 months.
Introducing first the challenger from Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 205 pounds, one half of the Rage Tag Team Champions, Oliver Hollywood. His opponent, accompanied by manager Sylvia Strong from Chesapeake, Virginia, weighing in at 198 pounds, the RWL Cruiserweight Champion, the prototype, Gary Galaxy.
This title match with Oliver Hollywood, undiscovered country for the prototype Gary Galaxy as he turns the belt over to referee Charles Lucera. What a matchup this is going to be, Tex. Wow. Oliver Hollywood, a high flyer and a half against Gary Galaxy, another high flyer. This is major.
Definitely a little something we don't get to see every day, Dandy Don. This is going to be good. Oliver Hollywood. We don't see him too often in single action, but he hasn't forgotten how. Referee rings the bell. They come center ring. Oliver opens up with a series of shots. Gary sidesteps in, tags him with a shot. Here's a jawjacker from Oliver Hollywood. Hollywood goes around on Galaxy. Rolls up and whoa! What a kick to the head right there from Hollywood. Gary Galaxy on the mat and on the defensive early. There's a snap of the leg from Oliver Hollywood. Gary counters with a kick to the head. Back up on his feet, delivers a kick to Oliver Hollywood. Oh, man. Here we go. Hard forearm. Takes Ollie down to the canvas. Oliver counters. Gets back up on his feet. Rebounds off the middle rope and misses with the move. Oh, well. Sometimes that happens. Gary Galaxy drives a knee into the arm of Oliver Hollywood. Follows that up with a couple of stomps to the head. Gary Galaxy misses with the knee. Oliver Hollywood sidestepped him just in time. Hard whip to the ropes for Gary Galaxy. Oh man, duck under. There's a leapfrog. Here we go, all the way up into a spine buster. Oliver Hollywood definitely performing as a solid single performer here. One. Only just one. The prototype still in command here as far as the championship goes, but octopus stretch for Gary Galaxy. Gary bouts his way out, turns it into a drop toe hold, drops Oliver Hollywood on his nose. Oliver, he brought that knee up just in time, right into the face of Gary Galaxy. Gary counters with elbows to the midsection of Oliver Hollywood. They lock it up. Gary whips Ollie to the ropes. Whoa, that was a beautiful arm drag. Looked like a damn gyroscope. Gary whipped to the far right corner. Oliver Hollywood jumps out on the apron. There's a kick right to the face. And back in over the top rope goes Ollie. I told you he was fast. Oliver Hollywood rebounds off the ropes. An elbow right to the head of Gary Galaxy. And, well, the Cruiserweight champion having his share of problems here, as Oliver Hollywood has been all over him most of the match. Here we go. Cross body dive. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. Well, even Sylvia Strong looks a little bit concerned. Oliver Hollywood has been definitely firing on all cylinders here. Look at this. Fisherman Buster from Oliver Hollywood. Hollywood, absolutely amazing even without his tag team partner Tommy Wilcox in the corner. Low drop kick to the side of the head of Gary Galaxy, the prototype, making his way to a standing position on the apron. Here comes Ollie. There's a shoulder right to the chest. And Gary Galaxy slowly making his way to a standing position on the outside. Here comes Oliver Hollywood. Whoa, he caught him. Shut up. And scoop slams him for good measure. Gary Galaxy still in the game here big time. Rolls Oliver Hollywood back inside the ring. Wow, that was beautiful. Oliver Hollywood with a nice tilt-a-whirl hurricane runner right there. Gary back up on his feet, charges, takes down Oliver Hollywood, takes him down with a second clothesline. Swing and a miss for Ollie, and there's a kick right to the face of Oliver Hollywood. Jumping elbow from Gary Galaxy. The prototype indicating to the fans that he is A-OK, not to worry. Oliver Hollywood back up on his feet. And there's a, one-arm backbreaker from the prototype. He's not only fast, he's strong too. Series of kicks to the head of Oliver Hollywood, and just like that, the prototype has turned things around. And he was in danger of losing this match, but now that may be turning around right here. Oliver Hollywood escapes the head scissor, rebounds off the ropes, tags Gary Galaxy with that elbow again. Oliver Hollywood moves in, and there we go. Neck breaker drop. Gary in trouble here. Oliver Hollywood snaps the arm on the prototype, and just like that, the momentum turned around yet again in favor of Oliver Hollywood. He goes behind on Gary Galaxy, rolls up, comes back up with a kip up and a kick to the head of, the prototype in big time trouble now. Sylvia Strong definitely worried here. Oliver Hollywood off. He missed with a beautiful move. It would have been the end. That would have been the coup de grace right there, Don. Hurricane Rana from Oliver Hollywood. Gary counters with a kick, gets back up on his feet. Drives a knee into the arm of Hollywood. Jumping elbow into the chest one more time. Here's a rebound off the ropes, a diving moonsault. And here's a quick cover. 1, 2. No, just a 1, says the referee. It looked like a 2 to me. Stomp to the midsection. Another rolling elbow to the back of Oliver Hollywood. Gary Galaxy turning things around yet one more time. Man, what a cruiserweight matchup this has been. Okay. Ollie pitched out towards center. Gary off the middle rope. There's a moonsault. And now the prototype taking his time about it, but he's going to go air one more time just to make sure. Here's the nail in the coffin. No, it ain't. Look at this. Oliver Hollywood picks up on the mistake. 1, 2. No, another 1. Another near fall. And this insane Cruiserweight Championship matchup. Champion versus champion. I knew it was going to be good, but damn. Oliver Hollywood all the way up on the top rope. Gary Galaxy gets to a standing position. Here we go. Diving crossbody, and down goes Gary Galaxy. Oliver Hollywood gathers him up again. Gets a hold of him. Escorts him towards the far right corner. Head first into the turnbuckle goes Gary. Oliver Hollywood pitches him to the outside, off to the apron, but here we go. Off the ropes and a kick. Takes Gary down to the floor. That was beautiful. Oliver Hollywood definitely got some cruiserweight skills. Now into a heel hook stretch on the outside as Charles Lucero starts the count. The Cruiserweight Championship hanging in the balance here. And what a match it's been so far. Another knee right to the face of Gary Galaxy from Oliver Hollywood. Oliver locks up Gary, drives him into the ring steps. Man. Oliver Hollywood pitches Gary towards the barricades and tags him with an elbow too. Man. Oliver Hollywood gets a grip on Gary, gets him back inside the ring. Gary Galaxy in a whole heap of trouble here. Off the middle rope, diving crossbody. Gary Galaxy is catching all of it from Oliver Hollywood. Holly gets ready to go air again. Another high risker, but oh man, again another crash and burn for Oliver Hollywood. That might wind up costing him. Gary Galaxy with a suplex to Oliver Hollywood. And he's looking like he's been through something. Gary moves in on him slow. Gets a hold of him, takes him to the far left corner, smashes his head into the turnbuckle. He rounds him up, scoop slams him. And the Prototype up on the middle rope here. Oliver Hollywood suddenly getting back to his feet. Here we go. Oh, man. A DDT off the middle rope from the Prototype. Gary Galaxy, you should just cover him and pin him. It's over, man. Oh, Oliver Hollywood catches a crossbody off the ropes from Gary Galaxy. I guess he wants to make sure. Diving elbow across the chest of Oliver Hollywood. Ollie making his way to a standing position against the ropes. Gary Galaxy backs it up, lines it up, and whoa! Both of them go out onto the floor. Holy old hell, Gary Galaxy done fooling around here, winds him up. Oh, man. Just, oh, what a nasty sit out right there from the Prototype. Gary Galaxy with a gut wrench suplex to Oliver Hollywood. Ollie rolled back inside the ring by Gary Galaxy. Oh man, what a match we have had here so far. The Prototype all the way up on the top one more time. Big time leg drop across the throat of Oliver Hollywood. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. That is it. The Prototype retains the Cruiserweight Championship.
Seconds. Your winner and still Cruiserweight Champion Gary Galaxy.
A very impressive performance by Oliver Hollywood, but an even more impressive performance and title retention from the Prototype Gary Galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done with the first half. It's in the books, but right now, let's turn it over to Wally Cardo in the interview area with a special guest.
While she remains tentatively unable to compete, she refused to miss tonight's show from the Spectrum. Joining me now, ladies Triple Crown champion, Liberty Belle Danielle Heathcote. Everyone saw Luna Vachon's vicious attack on you, following your match with Michelle McCool. Now, the injuries you sustained in that attack will be keeping you on the sidelines for just a few more precautionary days, but I'd imagine you can't possibly be happy with Luna for what she's done, not just to you, but to Kayden Carter and Patty Powers as well.
I'm furious. Laid up on the bench for tonight, not able to compete in probably my favorite arena anyplace? Of course I'm pissed. Now I have to recover, get medically cleared, again. Before I can even think about taking Luna Vachon apart, plus, I have to hope everyone else leaves me a little piece of her. You already know the whole ladies' locker room's on fire because of that lethal idiot.
I don't know if you've heard, but Les Femmes Fatale and Dynamite Jeannie Parker caught Luna, masked and dressed all in black at Rage in Allentown just the other night. While the Women's World Champion assured everyone that Luna Vachon is alive and well, she won't tell what she, Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson, exactly did to her, but no matter what, Les Femmes may have very well saved themselves and the other ladies in the locker room from more unwanted, vicious attacks from Luna.
Yeah, I did hear that. Jeannie and Les Femmes are like my new heroes now. I'm sure whatever they did, Luna Vachon deserved it. The raw nerve of sneaking in to do even more damage, after being suspended and fined. Some of these old hoes never learn, I guess. MJF is lobbying the front office to have her fired. Most people don't think it's a good move, and that what she deserves is to be allowed to stay, where she's gonna keep paying for what she did. I'm all for her being fired. Bad enough what she did to me, and Kayden Carter, but blinding Patty? That made me mad. I just hope there's something left of her to beat on when I get back.
Well, with any luck, Dr. Beverly Sims Barnett says you'll be able to get back in the ring this Saturday. So what are your thoughts on that?
That Saturday would mark 2 years since I won the Joyce Grable Memorial Tournament, so it's kind of a big deal for me. And let me just say it now, whether it's Luna Vachon or anyone else, don't you dare try to ruin that night for me, because if you do, I'll spend the rest of my life making you pay for it. I'm cool to get along with anyone, but people are taking advantage of that in me, and not letting it happen anymore, so the asshats in the locker room better find someone they can bully, 'cause it's not gonna be me anymore, Wally.
All right, well, Danielle, thanks for your time. Do enjoy the rest of the show, and we're all looking forward to seeing you back on Snarl again. That's the word from here. Back to Don Hickson and Texan.
All right, Wally, thank you very much for that. As Liberty Bell Danielle Heathcote hopefully will be medically cleared to compete by this Saturday's Snarl. It has been a rough go for Liberty Bell Danielle.
It most certainly has, Tex. That concludes the first half of tonight's Wrestling from the Spectrum. We will return with the second half of tonight's card right after this brief intermission. Hope to see you there.